This reading is from Whispers from Eternity by Paramhansa Yogananda, a book of prayer poems. And this one is entitled My Guru, that he wrote for Sri Yukteswarji. And it's the beginning of this chapter in the book is invocations to the manifestation of God in the temples of great lives. And he begins with My Guru. Thou light of my life, thou camest to spread wisdom's glow over the path of my soul. Centuries of darkness dissolved before the shafts of thy luminous help. As a naughty baby I cried for my mother divine, and she came to me as my Guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar. At that meeting, O my Guru, a spark flew from thee, and the faggots of my God-craving, gathered through incarnations, smoldered and blazed into bliss. All my questions have been answered with thy flaming golden touch. Eternal, ever-present satisfaction has come to me through thy glory. My Guru, thou voice of God, I found thee in response to my soul cries. Slumbers of sorrow are gone, and I am awake in bliss. If all the gods are displeased, yet thou art pleased, I am safe in the fortress of thy pleasure. And if all the gods protect me behind the parapets of their blessings, yet I receive not thy benedictions. I am an orphan, left to pine spiritually in the ruins of thy displeasure. O Guru, thou didst bring me out of the bottomless pit of darkness into the paradise of peace. Our souls met after years of waiting. They trembled with an omnipresent thrill. We met here because we had met before. Together we will fly to his shores, where we will smash our planes of finitude forever and vanish into infinite life. I bow to thee as the spoken voice of silent God. I bow to thee as the divine door which leads to the temple of salvation. I bow to thee, to thy master, Lahiri Mahashai, harbinger of yoga in Benares, and I lay the flowers of my devotion at the feet of Babaji, our supreme master. Speaking of the phrase, the spoken voice of silent God, it's so nice to have Master's voice. As many times as we talk about him, as many times as we feel him, as many times as we do the things that he said together, the Kriya initiation last night, the discipleship we'll be doing in a little bit, still, there's nothing like hearing it straight from him. And it's very important to remember that, to as part of our sadhana, to take time to listen to Master. Make sure to get these recordings. If you don't have them, they're all available just online through the YSS site. You can just pay the little fee. I think it costs as much as half of an idli. And then you can download it. And then and listen to them. Also watch Swami Kriyanandaji's videos. Listen to his voice. We can't underestimate how much it can help us. The memory of hearing Master's talk that you've already heard, many of you have heard this one, is not the same as the experience in the moment of hearing it. For one thing, he may say something that strikes you differently, that you may have heard 1,000 times, but somehow it registers differently now, today. It may be that just you hear the same thing, you don't hear any content, any new sentences, but you feel his presence. All of a sudden, you feel something perhaps in a different way. I think everybody should, be required to listen to Master's recordings twice. Once to get over the shock of the force of his voice. Swamiji said his voice was very strong, just as you hear it. And he said for some timid people, or let's say people with timid parts of us, would just, ooh. But remember, he is on your side. So you can think of him as Arjuna, the warrior, and you're on the good side. And there he is. So he's fighting for all of us, and he's helping. If ever we feel a part of us tremble, remember that's a part that wants to be healed. You don't have to be afraid of strength, his strength or your own. Remember, the purpose of the spiritual path is what? Self-realization. That's what the masters tell us. That's what they come to bring us. That's what these two great masters who we're honoring today have come for. But remember, that also means becoming strong in yourself. That's really what it is. How do we become infinitely strong? As it said in the reading, by attuning our strength to God's strength. It isn't that we become the finite vessel of infinite strength. How could we be? But we get into that divine flow and we have God's power behind us. But how do we do it? We need help. We need guidance. That's why we have our gurus. It's important to remember the personal and impersonal aspects of the gurus that way. On the one hand, as Swamiji said once in a celebration of Master, it's very important to remember, on one level, Master is completely impersonal, and our love for him is really a universal love, a love for God, not to particularize so much, to say that, our Guru, Sri 108, all of this is the best. Sri 109, actually, superior to all other Sri 108s. It's nothing like that. We can't think in those terms. It's ridiculous. It's like someone saying to you, my mother is better than your mother. I mean, it may be that somebody's a better cook or somebody's a better whatever, athlete or something, but still, my mother belongs to me and I to her, and it's not a competition. You don't see mothers going to different houses scooping up more children to live with them. You just have the family you have, for better or worse. And in this case, for better. And so we want to remember, though, that all the self-realized gurus, all the masters, all the paths that come are there to suit the different temperaments of people. For example, different paths, different sadhanas, different spiritual practices, those are there to suit people's nature. And remember, we ourselves may have gone through different ones. Sometimes if we see a path, a spiritual path that we honor and respect, but we think, oh, thank God it's not my path. Ugh. It's maybe because it was. Maybe because we did that path and we had enough of it and then we wanted to try something else. And as long as that's taking us deeper, closer to God, then it's a good thing. If we're just bouncing around, well, that's a phase too that we go through. That's how we learn. That we nibble at a little bit at each buffet, but we never quite get satisfied until we finally sit down and have a proper meal in one place. And so also, though, it's not just about the path, the teachings, and the practices that we do, it's also the particular spiritual family. As Master said of Sri Yukteswarji, we met here because we had met before. And I think that's true for many of us, that we have come here because we have come before. And you can say, yes, I have been to T. Nagar before. That's not what I mean. That we have been with Master before. Partly that's how we feel a familiarity. Someone asked me recently, 2 days ago, about attunement, saying, I'm still not quite sure I understand attunement. And I thought of another way to express it, because attunement can seem unfamiliar. And you heard Master say, those who are in tune with me, they're in tune not with me, but him that sent me. That's a line from the Bible, that he who follows me follows not me, but him that sent me, is what Christ said. And Master was saying, those who are tuning in with me, this is the impersonal side. They're not tuned to me, but him that sent me. No one dwells in this temple now but God. You've heard that Master said that. Now you've heard Master say that to you. And so this sense then of attunement, in the beginning, when someone is brand new, and I was saying it to the person who was asking about attunement, it manifests as an attraction. Again, why should we be attracted to this path? You can say, well, obviously, the meditation techniques work. I like the chanting. The blue carpet is pleasant and soft. All these things. But there's nothing empirical. There's nothing logical, deterministic about it. That if this were the case, then everyone would follow. And it's not the case. That some people are attracted and some people are attracted elsewhere. That's in the rightness and fitness of things. But we felt attracted. Why? Well, you can give all the reasons you want. Some people feel attracted and they don't even know why. One person sent me a message, I'm not coming to class today. Okay. And then the class time came and the person showed up. And she said, when the time came to leave, I just started putting on chappals and going. She said, something made me to come. I don't even know why I came, but I'm here. And she continued on through Kriya and beyond and is still here. And sometimes there's a part of us, as Swamiji says, we're wiser than we know, which is to say we have awareness, we have consciousness, we have realization that we may not even be aware of. We may not be, meaning we've never questioned it. We've never wondered, why do I think this way? It's just the way I think. Doesn't everyone? No. I read Autobiography of a Yogi, I myself. I read about Kriya Yoga, accelerating spiritual progress, and I said, this I want. Where is it? How do you get it? And then it just seemed obvious to me that this was the purpose of the book. Other things too I came to discover, but this Kriya Yoga, wow. 30 seconds of Kriya gives you the same spiritual progress you would get in 1 year. I mean, take your pick. Think about that. The whole COVID pandemic of 3 years could have been 90 seconds. Just burn it off in Kriya. So 3 years is a long time to be stuck in a temple, or stuck in a center, or stuck apart, really. That was the worst part. We were stuck separately. If we were all stuck together, fine. But we all had to be separate. And you came back just in time. In fact, it's our... tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of the center being open after COVID. And so it's a real joy because it feels like that now. And for the first few months, we kept wondering, is this a dream? Are you really there? Can I shake your hand? And well, maybe still we had to be careful. And then also we would, is this like a time traveling back in time? It feels normal, but then it feels strange. It just took a while to get used to it. Now it feels like our natural flow, and by God's grace, everybody's been safe and healthy. But this attraction, then, we have to be very grateful for. Because on the one hand, to finish the story about Kriya Yoga, when I was meeting Swamiji for the first time, I asked him, did Master envision that everybody who read his Autobiography of a Yogi would want to take Kriya initiation? Because it seemed obvious to me, and the first person I tried it on was completely uninterested. And so was the second, and the third, and meaning I do not need to read that book. No, just the one. And somehow the more I tried to convince them with even better arguments, somehow the less they were convinced, which you will find, because I was pushing it on them. I was only trying to help, but I quickly found that it was not helping. And so one has to sort of approach people in the right way or wait for them to express an interest is a far better way, and it's following the teachings of ahimsa that way, nonviolence. So I said to Swamiji, did Master think everyone would take Kriya after they read his book? And Swamiji said, oh no, as if to say, how could you even ask? He said, very few people actually want God. But that is who we are. We want God. Many people do want God, actually, but still, Krishna says, out of 1,000, one seeks me. Luckily, there's such a large population in the city that therefore we get a lot of seekers. But the thing is, we should be glad that we do want God. That is why we have come. Consciously or unconsciously. Some people say, I come for stress relief. Fine. And if that's all they get, that's quite a lot. So I'm not making light of that. But usually there's something more that, well, as one person said when he came to level 3 and we asked, why are you here? Why have you come? Meaning, what have you gotten out of the classes so far? He said, I enjoy, so I continue. And it was such a wonderful thing because, some people had these big answers which were equally good, but we should all feel, I enjoy, so I continue. That's really, you go on until we get to the infinite enjoyment, the enjoyment that doesn't change based on good weather, bad weather, AC, no AC, current, no current, that we say, no, that's all right, I can be with God. I can feel God with me, regardless of these circumstances. And I can see God living my life through me in a way. And then, as I said, though, it's also personal, because Master is the form in which God has come to us. These gurus are the forms. We need that. It's very helpful. It's good to, some people are inclined in the formless way, and that's fine also. But all of our great gurus, you hear them speaking with deep love and gratitude and reverence to their own guru. Lahiri Mahashai speaking of Babaji, Sri Yukteswarji speaking of Lahiri Mahashai, Master speaking of Sri Yukteswar, and also Swamiji speaking of Master. Each one saying, I'm just sharing with you what my masters have shared, which is really what God has shared. So it's a two-way relationship. They come to help, as he said. This is what has been sent to the world, generally, for any who want it. But it's also been sent to you, and they've come because of you. Not just because they said, oh, there's Mohanarangan, I think he wants some teaching. And is that his name? No. It's because they saw you before you were born and said, let's make sure also to scoop him up. They do scoop us up, but they scoop their own children up. And that is we. So in other words, don't think that you are just a serial number to the masters, that they've sorted the list by Aadhaar number and that's all that counts. Nothing. No, they don't need Aadhaar to know your identity. As Babaji said to Lahiri Mahashai, I watched you for 33 years before we met, and in this incarnation. And so the masters have watched all of us, each of us, for that same number of years, meaning the years before, some less years, some greater years, but always watching. So build on that, not capitalize, but take advantage of that connection, because it's there constantly. As much as we are listening for them, they are listening even more. And let's, especially at this time of Mahasamadhi, let's be open.